Friday is now in a critical but stable condition.
We review President Obama's inauguration and Martin Luther King Jr. Day. We'll have more.
And we take an in-depth look at political reform after the 2012 election. This is Newswatch 18.
This is Newswatch 18.
Milwaukee.
Newswatch 18 starts now.
Welcome to the Tuesday, January 22nd edition of Newswatch 18, our first show of the spring semester. I'm Chandler Nissenson.
And I'm Adam Brower. So Sam, how about that weather?
Hey guys, welcome back to the 2013 year for Newswatch. We have a lot of cold weather coming up. Actually, some records were broken in Des Moines. We went 710 days and finally broke the below zero record. So what I've got for you as far as the headlines are, we got a cold week ahead, some very cold nights are on the way, and some slight snow chances are at the end of our week. So nothing too exciting, and I'll tell you more about that later in my forecast.
According to Mercy Hospital, the victim of Friday's hit and run, Sean Molitor, has upgraded his condition to stable but still critical. According to a post on Molitor's Facebook page, Molitor's medical status has shown minor improvements but remains with a breathing tube. The hit and run happened along Welch Avenue Friday at 2 a.m. in the morning. The operator of the black Chevy Silverado that hit Molitor has been identified as 24-year-old Jimmy Tyler Hatley of Kansas City. Hatley has been charged with serious injury by vehicle, leaving the scene of a serious injury accident, operating while intoxicated, and reckless driving.
This week, ISU TV's Kate Hurley went a little deeper into the dream of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Yesterday, professors and students alike took a day away from their usual classes in honor of a man with a great dream, Martin Luther King Jr. Now, 50 years later, have we yet reached that dream?
The principles don't change, but the circumstances, conditions, and what we're looking at will change. The issues of the day, when you look at the things that he was talking about, yes, we've done those. But those are the things of the day and the examples of the day that he used. And I don't want to get stuck on that.
King stood in the shadow of former President Lincoln on August 28, 1963, and gave his famous I Have a Dream speech to a sea of people. During this speech, he laid out his vision for an equal America. Dr. King's speech moves people even today as it did back then.
It's been 50 years since his speech, and I think his words ring true nowadays, too.
Students are living in an America that has been changed by the civil rights movement.
His speech inspired so many people, and you can see that today because being a biracial couple doesn't turn heads, and being a mixed family is becoming more and more of the norm. So he definitely started a great movement and changed a lot of things.
So many years after the speech, rights, policies, and relationships have changed, due in part to one man's words and people fighting for a change. Kate Hurley, ISU TV.
Professor Michael Eric Dyson will present his lecture, Race, Racism, and Race Relations, as a part of Iowa State's Martin Luther King Jr. Legacy Series. The lecture is focused on racial issues at Iowa State University. A professor of sociology at Georgetown University, Dyson, is the author of 17 books, and has received American Book Award as well as 2 NAACP Image Awards. The event is on January 31st and is free and open to the public.
National political reporters will share with Iowa State students how the use of novel science methods helped Obama win this election. Speakers Sasha Eisenberg and Ryan Lisa will discuss how political parties win over their voters. David Peterson, a political science professor at Iowa State, said political reporters have not kept up with modern campaign methods. The lecture will discuss why and how things are changing. It will be held at the Memorial Union on February 4th.
On Saturday night, the M Shop and the Memorial Union played host to the second annual Ames Winter Classic.
Ames Winter Classic is an annual show at the M Shop that is a partnership between Mumford's and the M Shop. It started last year in 2011, and the concept was just, they would let us kind of put on our own kind of show, pick the bands, make it a free show, and just make it a celebration of local music. And it was a huge hit, and so we decided to make it an annual.
Local bands including Mumford's, Rebel Creek, Surgery, and Peace, Love and Stuff played to a capacity crowd for most of the night. The M Shop in Mumford's put together the show, which showcased the various sounds Ames Music has to offer, as well as give students a chance to catch a free show at the M Shop. The show is free and open to all ages.
Kevin Hansen's career goal is sports turf management, and now he has the opportunity to work on the greatest gridiron this February. The senior at ISU will intern at the Mercedes Superdome for this year's Super Bowl. Kevin will spend 7 days in New Orleans to help prepare for this year's game. He was one of 18 applicants from 17 college turf programs nationwide.
So, Cody, sounds like there's a lot in sports this week.
Yeah, conference games are starting to heat up for both the men's and women's basketball team. We'll have more in sports. This is Newswatch 18. Welcome back. I'm Cody Peterson with your Cyclone Sports Update. The Iowa State men's basketball team heads to Lubbock tomorrow to take on Texas Tech. Fred Hoiberg's club is coming into the game with a 13-4 record, but have won 7 of their last 8. After being out-rebounded against TCU last game, Hoiberg says his team needs to improve on the offensive boards against Tech.
You know, these guys, and not only are they long, but they're very athletic, and they crash hard. They really get after it. You know, so the big thing for us, you know, as we always talk about, is if we can get that thing off the glass, it should create some transition opportunities, and that's what we're at our best. There's no doubt about it. We can get out and run and push the tempo.
With a 3-1 record in the Big 12, Iowa State is off to its best start since 2000 when they took home the Big 12 title. The high-powered Cyclone offense ranks first in the conference in scoring, averaging just over 80 points per game. The team is doing this by spreading the scoring load. 5 players average double digits in scoring so far this season. Texas Tech is 8-8 overall with a 1-4 record in the conference. The Cyclones are heavily favored, but a loss to the struggling Red Raiders could hurt Iowa State chances to make the big dance in March. With the heart of the Big 12 schedule approaching, including a potential showdown with 11th-ranked Kansas State Saturday at Hilton Coliseum, no conference game can be taken lightly. Tip-off in Lubbock is at 8 o'clock and can be seen on ESPNU. The same night the men's basketball team will face Texas Tech in Lubbock, the women's team will play another Texas school here in Ames. The number 24-ranked Cyclone women's basketball team will welcome the top-ranked Baylor Lady Bears to Hilton Coliseum. The Cyclones will look to make it 9 straight home wins, but it won't come easy, as the Bears blasted the Clones 67-39 in their previous meeting. Baylor was led by National Player of the Year and likely WNBA first overall pick Brittany Griner's 23 points. The Clones will have their hands full trying to stop Griner. She leads the Lady Bears in scoring, rebounding, field goal percentage, and blocks. The Iowa State women are going to need huge performances from leading rebounder Chelsea Poppins, assist leader Nikki Moody, and leading scorer Hallie Christopherson if they hope to pull off the upset. The game is Wednesday at 7 p.m. in Hilton Coliseum. On Sunday, February 3rd, the San Francisco 49ers of the NFC will face off against the Baltimore Ravens of the AFC in Super Bowl 47. Last Sunday, the 49ers narrowly defeated the Atlanta Falcons 28-24 in the NFC Championship game, reaching the Super Bowl for the 6th time in franchise history. The 49ers are 5-0 all-time in Super Bowl games, with their last World Championship coming in 1995. Colin Kaepernick will get the start at quarterback for the Niners. It'll be just his 11th start in his 2nd year as a pro. In the AFC Championship game, the Ravens beat the New England Patriots 28-13. Ravens future Hall of Fame linebacker and team leader Ray Lewis will be playing in his final game in the NFL. The biggest storyline, however, are the coaches on the sideline. Jim Harbaugh, head coach of the 49ers, will coach against his older brother John, head coach of the Ravens. The brothers are separated by only 15 months. Both coaches will be coaching in their first Super Bowl. This game can be seen on Sunday, February 3rd at 5:30 on CBS. That's all I have for you in sports. So, Sam, what's the weather looking like in this week?
Well, it's going to be cold and a relatively docile weather week. No, not too much for snow. Maybe a chance towards the end of the week. So stay tuned for that and more. This is Newswatch 18. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. This is meteorologist Sam Shire from Newswatch 18. So we broke some records, like I said earlier today. Des Moines finally fell below zero for the first time in 710 days, not 2 days ago. Almost probably could have made it till next year if we hadn't broken it this year. 13 degrees right now currently in Des Moines. A few clouds out there right now, and they're why we're staying at 13, not dropping even farther below that. So current temps around the state, about 8 degrees in Waterloo, so we're coldest off to the north and east, 13 in Davenport, and about 12 in Fort Dodge. Mostly the teens around Iowa, and it's really where we're going to continue to see maybe in a bit of a warm-up as we head into later into the week. Now, tonight's low, 7 in Waterloo, 6 in Mason City, so coldest off to the north and east. We're seeing that again with mostly teens throughout most of Iowa. The lower teens, you see Des Moines is at about 11 degrees for us. So not too horribly cold, but it is still chilly. Tomorrow's highs, we do warm up quite a bit, though. Take a look at this. Des Moines, 29. Ames, 25. About 19 in Mason City. So what we've been seeing, northeast has been colder, up north just a little colder, but we get almost to 30, 31 here in Council Bluffs. So it is starting to get a little more towards what's normal for January. Taking a look at what's going on around the nation, not a whole lot to do for the country, really. Just kind of some boring weather, and that's because we've got a huge trough here, and we're on the back side of it, really. So Iowa's not seeing a whole lot of exciting weather from it, just a lot of clouds and just a few snow showers. Wanted to try to pass by, but they didn't land on the ground. Now, high pressure is moving out of our region, and we do have a low, wanted to kind of creep in with a short wave that's coming through, but not a lot's going to happen from it. There's a bit of a cold front that was stretching across from that low, but we're not really going to see that very much, and we're just going to have, some clouds and a few chances for some snow to move in towards the end of the week. Tonight, about 7 degrees for our temperature. Tomorrow, we're going to warm up to about 25 frames, a little windier, though, tomorrow, and a few clouds out there. Now, taking a look at the extended outlook, here it is. Friday and Sunday are a few chances for some snow showers and possibly even a little rain on Sunday as we warm up into the weekend with Sunday about 34 degrees. That's all I've got for weather, and now let's go back to the desk.
Yesterday's festive inauguration celebrations were quite a contrast to the campaign season earlier this year. ISU TV's Kate Tindall investigates the challenges the Republican Party has faced after candidate Mitt Romney's defeat.
Campaigning and voting are over. But some are still analyzing the outcomes of November 6th and debating whether there are changes in store for the Republican Party. In such a close presidential race, supporters of Republican presidential candidate Mitt Romney were left disappointed. And as the excitement of election 2012 fades, they are asking what went wrong.
They needed to come forward with their vision for the country a lot sooner than they did. I mean, then this just is a tactical question about the campaign. The Obama campaign did a really excellent job of defining what kind of candidate Mitt Romney was. Sort of plutocrat who didn't care about regular people and who just wanted to give tax cuts to the rich.
Some experts are arguing that Romney's campaign ignored important demographics and polling sources.
It ignored where there are lots of voters in the United States, and it mainly appealed to a narrower, smaller group of voters, mostly white, older voters, mostly in smaller towns and rural communities.
Conservative media complex is interested in ratings, and so it makes everything as sensational and awful as it could possibly sound. And when candidates begin to play to this, then they, by definition, get themselves off track.
And casting Romney as the fix-it man for an ailing economy failed to win him the election.
It was only at the end of the campaign that they came up with 5 points, and those points were not specific enough, really, to answer the question, well, really, how are you going to create more jobs?
He won on, who do you think would do better on the economy? He won on who shares your values. But what he didn't win on was, is this candidate somebody who cares about you?
But choice of candidate is only a portion of the discussion, and the possible reevaluation of the Republican Party platform has become the topic of heated debate.
Should the Republican Party be reevaluating its party platform? And if so, how and why?
Hopefully what this election teaches, the Republican Party is that, in the primary process, they really need to make sure their candidates don't get pulled that far right.
We are going to have to find ways to have a better message as a party so that we're not clouded by the imaging, that once again we have our message of strong defense, free enterprise, and strong families.
There may be changes in 2016, but that will really depend on who the nominee of the Republican Party is. In part, those platforms do reflect broadly some of the policy positions of the nominee.
Others argue that changing the party platform is only one possible way of gaining votes.
There's a real conflict between Republicans who say change nothing, turn out all of our voters and we'll win, and those who say we need to change.
Difficulty lies in either direction.
We can't just change the party platform because we may then drive away people who like the party platform.
Both parties need to make changes to their party platforms in the following ways, not so much what they put in their platforms, but a recognition that the party platform is a map for public policy starting points for purposes of solving public problems.
However, the presidential race is only one aspect of the election process.
We have been talking way too much about how the Republican Party lost in 2012. We should also talk about how the Republican Party held its own, did very well in many parts of the country.
Reporting from Ames, Iowa for Post-Election Analysis 2012 with Alyssa Weiss and David Geiger, Kate Tindall, ISU TV.
This concludes ISU TV's post-election analysis for 2012. ISU TV will continue to keep you informed on the work of legislators in Washington and here at home in Iowa as we move on to this new year. That's all we have for this edition of Newswatch 18.
Be sure to tune in Thursday at 8 for more cyclone news, weather, and sports.
Have a great week, Ames.